What is going on, everybody? Been a diehard Pistons fan since 2003, and this weekend has been rough. The Detroit Pistons, of course, lost Game 4 against the New York Knicks on a very controversial foul call. I have been away from home for this past weekend, so I haven't had a chance to get out my regular game previews, game recaps, or any of that type of stuff, but I just had to make a video kind of collecting my thoughts on a couple different things. So in this video, we are going to talk about the obvious foul from yesterday. We're going to talk about Ausar Thompson not spending a lot of time on the floor in the fourth quarter of this series. We're going to talk Malik Beasley and his shooting struggles. And towards the very end of the video, we're just going to briefly talk about Game 5 and kind of where my mind is at for the remainder of this series. So the first thing we need to talk about is the foul on Tim Hardaway Jr. Of course, the Pistons were down by 1 with 10 seconds or so left. Inbounded the ball to Cade. Cade got a decent look. The shot was missed, kicked back out to Tim Hardaway Jr., who was clearly fouled on a three-point attempt, which would have put him at the line to almost certainly win the game because all he would have had to do was make 1 out of 3 to tie it, or 2 out of 3, or 3 out of 3 to win. Of course, this foul was absolutely game-changing. The official came out after the game in the pool report and already admitted his mistake there. The 2-minute report issued by the league confirmed the mistake that was released today. So, really obvious, really unacceptable. I've officiated quite a bit of basketball in my life. I am very close with many people who have officiated at even higher levels than myself, very high levels, and I try not to blame the refs, but this one was just awful and unacceptable by every stretch. There's a few different things about this. Number one, I've seen a few people online saying, oh, JB wasted his challenge too early. First of all, you can't challenge a no call, and you can't challenge anything within the last 2 minutes of the game, so that's just a moot point, completely worthless. I wasn't crazy about JB using a challenge as early in the game as he did either, but that's doesn't matter. You can't review this. You can argue that you probably should be able to, but you can't, so forget about it. But it's just so disappointing. It hurts so bad for this to be the case because it would be such a different thing to be 2-2 going back to New York than 3-1, pretty much looking down the barrel of a shotgun going back up there. It just really sucks, man. There's really no other way to put it. I haven't stopped thinking about this for the past 24 hours since it's happened. It's just a really, really tough way to go out. I know there's some people who are like, well, the Pistons had other opportunities to win. They could have won this game other ways. Look, it's playoff basketball. Games go down to the wire. The Pistons have fought and fought to be able to put every game down to the wire. And when you get down to the wire, sometimes a bad call can cost you. But, I mean, man, it's playoff basketball. Games are going to be close. And this robbed us, point blank, period. And it's just really, really upsetting. That's really all I can say about that. But a couple things I do want to touch on, a few topics that are top of mind right now. Number one, Ausar Thompson has not been playing much in the fourth quarters of these games. I have mixed feelings on this. So, Ausar Thompson, when he plays, the Pistons offense, of course, suffers because of it, and their defense is better off because of it. There's no secret in that. That's obvious. I'm starting to question whether he should be playing in these games down the stretch because I think that the Pistons could have a better chance of finishing these games down the stretch if they tried to win them with defense. I've not been critical of JV Bickerstaff once on this channel, and I won't be today, but it's just surprising to me because the Pistons' net rating with their starting 5 in this series is higher than any other lineup, which is a little bit shocking as well because it doesn't feel like we've got off to great starts with our starting 5 throughout this series for the most part. But overall, I've really just been thinking that Ausar probably should be on the floor to close out these games going forward because it's just really hard for us to get stops down the stretch of these games. And like I mentioned about the foul and all that, if you want to look back to yesterday's game, that's probably where it would have had to have been won, was on the defensive end, because our offense wasn't really executing in the last 2-3 minutes anyways. We gave up a few really tough shots to Cat, a few really tough shots to Brunson, And maybe if we could have forced a stop or two there with Ausar on the floor, maybe that would have been better. Like I said, I'm not here to hate on JB Bickerstaff in the slightest, but man, like, I just think that going forward, maybe Ausar should be given the opportunity to close out these games rather than playing a couple minutes in the fourth quarter, because I just think that at this point, it's maybe the adjustment that needs to be made. Probably is, if there is one adjustment to be made. And I also did want to talk about Malik Beasley for a brief minute here. He has not shot the ball well in this series at all. Is my opinion on him changed? Not one bit. I mean, it's tough. Malik Beasley is a shooter. Shooter shoot. It's a cliche for a reason. Sometimes they're hot, sometimes they're not. You can say, oh, well, he's going to be a playoff dropper. Maybe we shouldn't pay him, this and that. I'm not hearing that because Malik Beasley has done so much for this team, not just shooting the ball, but just as a person, as a locker room guy, as a motivator, as a teammate, as a leader. I'm not really hearing that. Yes, he went really cold for a couple of games in this series, and he finally knocked down a couple of shots in the second half of yesterday's game, but it just sucks. That's all I can really say about it. Sometimes shooters get cold. I don't think differently about Malik Beasley. All of the shots that he's taken have been shots that he can make, and he just hasn't made them. And it is what it is. I haven't changed my mind on him one bit. I just wanted to get out that out there because I know a lot of people have been talking a little crazy about my guy Malik. Lastly, just want to talk about Game 5. I know it feels like this series is over. That's not lost on me. I know it feels like that. If you want some hope, just take it game by game. I would love for the Pistons to win it in Game 5 just to bring the series back to Detroit. Another chance to get another game of experience for the young core in the playoffs. Another chance to play in Detroit and hopefully break the streak of not having a home playoff win in a very long time. And I just think that you don't want to see these guys roll over. I know that it feels like this series is over. Would be great if they just don't roll over. I mean, I know it's tough, but would love to see them go out there and give it their best effort regardless. The Pistons are down 1-3. Only 5% of teams in NBA history that have been down 1-3 have came back to win the series. 95% chance they won't. If you want a positive out of that, I don't have any numbers in front of me. I don't have the dates, but there's been more 1-3 comebacks in the past 10 years than there probably was for the last 30 before that. So teams coming back from 1-3 deficits has definitely been a more common thing in the last decade. Not really sure why that is. I don't have any theories there, but there's been 13 or 14 1-3 comebacks in the past, or in the entire NBA history. And I feel like at least probably 5 of those have been, maybe more, have been in the past 10 years. So I don't know, man. I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm just going to enjoy whatever is the remainder of this season, because I know that it's very easy for myself or anybody to kind of be blinded by the officials costing us a game, by the fact we're down 1-3, but just trying to see the bigger picture here, and that's what the Pistons year has been absolutely fantastic. We've been playing with house money in this playoffs, and things are still good. So let me know what you guys think, and we'll catch up soon.